ready to watch a video.
Really? What?
Oh, just some scary movie.
You like scary movies?
Uh-huh.
What's your favorite scary movie?
You sick fucks. You've seen one too many.
I said, don't you blame the movies! Movies don't create psychos! Movies make psychos more creative!
Hello, horror hounds, and welcome to the It Slays podcast. I'm Rowan.
It's Cecilee.
This is the heavy breathing behind the Michael Myers mask, Mike.
And from that laugh, you can tell we have a special guest today.
Would you like to introduce yourself?
Oh, yeah. Hi, it's Cecilee.
The Queen, Cecilee, a fellow family member and fellow horror hound Patreon subscriber.
I meant to be the first one on purpose because I felt like I needed that spotlight.
You did. You needed to break the Patreon virginity.
Well, then look,
You
two
busted
people
a time.
right after. Snap,
Yeah.
snap, two more people.
Snap, snap. That's the sound of the hymen tearing.
Oh my god.
So I think it's only right that we allow Cecilee to do an introduction like we give an introduction to anyone that comes on the podcast. So Cecilee, tell us about the first time you saw a horror movie and your first exposure to it.
Well,
A horror movie.
A horror
right?
movie. See, the problem is I find a lot of movies scary. So the first movie I ever remember being scared was The Day After Tomorrow.
Isn't that the one about climate change?
Yes! And the old people, they freeze to death, and that really scarred me, and I still think about it to this day.
It's actually really funny because I kind of like that movie, and Rowan saw it the other day, and he's like, oh, I should buy that for you, ha ha ha. And it's because we watched it several times at home when we were growing up.
Yeah, because Mom and Dad kind of ignored parental guidance.
Yeah, as anybody who's ever listened to this podcast would know, our parents just kind of
they kind of wigged everything.
Yeah,
It's kind of a running joke that when parental guidance would come up, we'd just say, oh.
I mean, The Day After Tomorrow, I think, was only rated like PG.
It was, yeah.
But I was like maybe 5 when it came out.
Yeah, but that's like watching a TV movie, you know? Like it's...
I mean, it's
don't know.
realistic, guy.
It's gonna happen to us all, and that's the scariest part of it.
How about now? What do you like in horror now? What's your favorite kind of horror movie?
Pretty much the ones that are really bad. as shown by my pick of movie.
And this is why we get along.
The worse and more cringy it is, the more I'm gonna like it.
That's, yeah, well, we'll definitely get along because that's pretty much all we like at this podcast. Except for Exilia. Exilia is high class.
Yeah, she's too fancy and intelligent for...
Oh my god.
I mean, you've
bad
got to
movies
represent
too, guys.
class and trash.
Yes.
Class and trash.
That's what they called us growing up.
Oh, wow. I'm not going to say which one was which.
Oh.
Jeez.
Shots fired.
Shots fired.
Yep, my revolver is out and it's smoking.
So I figure we will start our questioning today with just an easy one, a lob ball. What we've been watching in terms of movies, television, what you've seen, not necessarily horror, but just in general.
I don't even know.
Well, we won't start with you then. Let's start with Mike.
Okay, I do know. I forgot.
Okay, Exilia will start then.
I really can't remember what I've been watching except for we watched Turbo Kid the other night. Was it last night?
Yeah.
It was awesome. Rowan very aptly described it as Brigsby Bear meets Hobo with a Shotgun, which I thought was really a great description. If anybody's interested in watching it, how would you describe it besides that, Rowan? Basically, we watch it because it was produced by a guy who did Hobo with a Shotgun, and he's from Halifax, so...
Which is actually a brilliantly entertaining movie.
Yeah. Oh, and I would add, like, the soundtrack of it is very It Follows. Like, it's this, like, 80s kind of thing. Like, it's cool.
But there's
That's a
lots
really
of great, like,
terrible
pop
description.
songs in it, too, yeah. Like
Yeah.
kind of classic
It's-
80s Canadiana.
It's great.
Including literally the greatest Canadian pop serve of all time, Run With Us by Lisa Lougheed, aka the Raccoons theme song.
Oh, in Hobo with a Shotgun?
And yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah, Hobo with a Shotgun. That's the one that Jason Eisner did.
Yeah. It was definitely incredible. Both
This
our
is-
first time seeing
This
it.
is a Turbo Kid now we're talking about.
Yeah,
Oh, I'm
Turbo
sorry.
Kid.
Basically, Jason Eisner did Hobo with a Shotgun and then produced Turbo Kid because it was from the ABC. It got submitted to the
They
ABCs
submitted
of
it
Death.
to the ABC's of Death movie.
Oh,
And it didn't get chose, but Jason Eisner liked it so much that he executive produced it and helped them get funding. They filmed it in Quebec, and it's just as like gory as Hobo with a Shotgun, but it's like
so Brigsby Bear-esque.
yeah, it's just like really odd. It's like a mix of comic books and gore and like 80s synth pop. It was amazing.
And robots.
I was gonna say, I feel like somebody recommended that movie to me a few years ago.
When it came out, I think the trailer had a lot of hype. Like, I know it was kind of around the circles that, like, this movie looks incredible. It also has, I don't know the actor's name, but the actor that plays the sergeant in Starship Troopers, that's the teacher.
Oh, Michael Ironside?
Yeah.
Oh, I love
he's
him. Yeah.
He's the villain in the movie.
He's great.
Yeah, so it was really, really good. Did you watch anything else, Auxilio?
Not that I can think of.
I'm trying to think if I watched anything without you. We did finish the last season of Easy.
Oh yeah.
Which was underwhelming.
I wasn't I really liked Easy a lot, and I liked it because of how realistic, more or less realistic it was. But I feel like this was too realistic. It's like you think it would be great to have a realistic show or movie, but then it's kind of like watching paint dry because you're just like, this is just the boring parts of life.
Yeah, it wasn't.
It wasn't that great.
It wasn't a very good season. I can't really think other than that.
And that was the last season, unfortunately.
When Auxilia goes to sleep, I've been slowly still digging my way in through the Halloween Scream Factory collection. I haven't finished. I'm on Halloween 4. I haven't finished it yet, but I've been enjoying that. I've been enjoying the documentaries on it and all the special features. So that's been pretty good. Cecilee, how about you?
I basically have nothing to add to this conversation. I am only ever watching Ted Ed riddle videos or different people playing The Sims.
Oh, do you
Ted
watch
Ed?
Twitch all the time?
Yeah, definitely.
Oh, I spend so many hours of my week on Twitch. Like, I don't even watch TV anymore. I just put on Twitch, beam it to my TV, and go to bed.
Yeah, I put them on and then just fall asleep to people like.
Yep. Oh, me too.
Playing The
And I'll wake up
Sims
at
or
like 4
whatever.
o'clock in the morning and they've handed their stream over to somebody else playing the same game. And it's just like, what world am I in? Have I
Yeah,
slipped
like-
into another dimension?
Peter
Rowan
says
told me I
like,
should-
oh, sorry.
No, go ahead.
Peter always says that he wakes up and then just sits and listens for hours and hours and hours. I'm still asleep, but he finds it like he can't get it out of his mind once he
Yeah.
starts listening.
Rowan said I should start doing Sims on Twitch.
You should actually. That's something that I would campaign for.
Yep.
I don't know if that was a compliment or a burn.
I would
That
subscribe.
I told you should do that.
No, I would.
I would be your first sub.
Nobody else has. Well, Mike hasn't seen my series of Instagram stories of me playing The Sims.
How have you not seen them?
Because I don't go on Instagram at all anymore.
Just
I'm
set
a
your
Twitter
notifications.
only right now.
Oh.
I get a lot of spam from Instagram. Let's just say that.
Yeah, because they changed the algorithm so that you see ads more.
I think that's code for dick pics.
Oh.
I mean, listen, Instagram should only be that interesting. Jesus.
Burn.
What's Ted Ed?
Ted Ed is like a YouTube channel made by, I don't know, the company, probably the ones that put on TED Talks. And they're just like
Oh, it's
educational
like education?
videos. Yeah.
Oh,
So
that's
sometimes
cool.
they have different series like Ugly History where they talk about terrible things that happened in history, obviously. But the ones that are the best are they do riddle videos and you have so much time to solve these impossible riddles.
I can't do riddles. My
I
brain
can't
just doesn't
either.
work like that.
No.
I like it. I love like educational videos about history and stuff, but I have to have fun, quirky graphics to go with it.
That's exactly what they're like.
watch
They're
it.
all
Oh,
like
really?
drawn.
It's like
yeah.
Crash Course and stuff.
Yeah, and there's another actual really cool YouTube channel called Extra Credits. It was originally created to like talk about video games, but then they started just doing history videos, but it's all animated.
Oh, that's cool. I have to look those up.
Yeah,
I'll
they're
write them
sweet.
down.
And that means it's you, Mike. What have you been watching?
Well, I think we all know at this point now that I've been watching a lot of Twitch streams. I had a few weeks where my Netflix was on hold, shall we say. And so I, you know, if I was in the morning, you know, like kind of getting ready and just had a few minutes to chill out and like drink a cup of coffee, I'd put on some Twitch. And when I go to bed, sometimes I'd put it on too and just sort of like get on my phone and stuff. And honestly, I haven't been catching up on anything new except I've been with a couple of my friends catching up on the new episodes of Pose, which, as you know, is my favorite show probably on the air right now. And other than that, other than Pose, I've really only been watching old episodes of Family Guy that I didn't watch from like 4 years ago.
Oh, there
You know,
go.
just I like some brainless trash, you know, that it's, you know, when life is getting too depressing and bleak and draggy, then you gotta put on some crap and just switch your brain off for a couple hours.
Yeah, The Hills New Beginning. We'll get into that because Perez Hilton is in this movie.
Oh, we'll be getting into that. This when that starts, like getting into full gear, this is gonna become not It Slays, but it's gonna be like The Hills Slay. It's gonna be now a Hills podcast.
Okay, I gotta save it all. We'll see.
We'll see. Let's get into it. So the film we are doing for this episode was chosen by the Queen, Cecilee, and she chose Most Likely to Die from 2015. Directed by Anthony DeBalsi, I believe is how you say his name.
We should talk about who wrote it. Like, we should mention who wrote it. I feel like those are, like, also important.
Yeah, maybe a good movie.
Well, I don't
in
mean
this
this
case,
movie
maybe-
specifically, but...
So we will get into the trailer first, and then we'll be back with everything else.
Can you believe it's been 10 years since graduation?
A toast to us.
What is this most likely thing?
Our friends, such as they are, predict our destinies after senior year. Not everyone can be most likely to succeed.
It's 2 days. You'll live.
Hello? Guys?
Oh my god!
What the hell happened?
All the fuel line's been cut.
Guys, what about the phones?
Still no signal.
I'm gonna be sick. Jane!
Okay, so the bio of this movie, the plot write-up, is a group of former classmates gather for a pre-party at one of their homes the night before their 10-year high school reunion. And one by one, they are brutally slain in a manner befitting each's senior yearbook superlative.
Superlative.
Is it superlative?
Superlative.
Superlative. I think it might be spelled wrong because it's 2 words on this right.
Yeah, that's
Oh.
wrong.
Yeah. So this was not my fault this time.
Sure.
So first I want to start with you, Cecilee. Why did you make us choose this amazing film?
Well, I felt like there was not enough trash movies being reviewed yet. A lot of this can be like discussed in a smart way. This movie cannot be discussed in an intelligent way.
Wow. I mean, she knows what makes for like scintillating conversation, right?
Like, you can't bring in Karl Marx to this movie. You can't bring in your like master's degrees. There's nothing that you can link in from your real lives to this
I am
movie.
going to tell you
It's
right
kinda
now,
true.
if I pushed this, we could certainly bring Karl Marx into it, but we won't. We will let Karl Marx's fucking dusty corpse just rest in that coffin this one night.
He deserves it. He
We will
doesn't
leave him
deserve
alone.
this.
I think he'll appreciate that.
Yeah, he's just like, please back off. I can't take this anymore.
Hey, are you interested in becoming a horror hound? Then join us at www.patreon.com/itslayspodcast and check out everything we have to offer. We have cool things from podcast shoutouts to picking movies all the way to maybe getting yourself a free t-shirt. So if you're interested in joining us and becoming a horror hound, join us at patreon.com/itslayspodcast. So let's get into the first question. We all know what that is. Our favorite scene, favorite scare, favorite kill, however you want to put it. And we will start with Mike.
Okay. So my favorite scene, I'm gonna say is probably, I'm not gonna put words into the screenwriter's mouth, but I'm gonna try to read her mind and say that she came up with this and literally just built the movie around this one scene, just as an excuse to do it. And that is when that girl Bella gets decapitated with the razor graduation cap. And the dude literally just like rips her head in his bare hands from her body. I'm
He must have been so jacked.
It's so brilliant in so many ways. And it's bizarrely, for how, spoiler alert, the movie's garbage, but for how bad a lot of the movie is. And that scene is indeed still bad, but like it's actually like an enjoyably done scene. And like I think they actually, because it was probably like their key scene, they put a lot of care into it, and I don't know, it was fun. It actually made me cringe, which frankly that's what a horror movie should do.
I wish we saw the decapitated head longer. It wasn't really a
it just fell on the
punch
ground,
for
and then
me.
they cut away. The editing was just non-existent. It was just like somebody hacking at it with a cleaver,
Hacking at it with a graduation cap with razors on it.
Ow, how did I not know?
Or a box cutter.
Or a
Or a
box
box
cutter.
cutter. Oh, guys, I just
Most underrated
falling down
weapon.
on the like metaphors that tie into the movie. Like,
How about you, Exilia? Favorite?
I mean, I guess my favorite kill would be Ashley. More, less so the kill, because I don't think you see it, but more so when they find her in that weird shack / like potentially outhouse. And she's like strung up in the lights and her name's there. And I thought the name thing was really fitting. Also, because it's like have your name in lights, most likely have your name in lights, but also because she fucking wears shirts that say Ashley on them. Like
in the exact same font of how they got the lights to go.
Yeah.
Yes.
It was really well thought out, yeah, for sure. On behalf of the killer.
I would say it's the only one that really fits the superlative that well.
That
honestly.
much. Yeah, exactly.
It definitely fits the superlative. How about you, Cecilee? Favorite scene, scariest scene, favorite kill?
I'm really glad that no one chose this one. But obviously, when the graduate, in case anyone doesn't know, the killer, that's his name, he uses his hat while it's still on his head to slice that girl's neck.
oh my god, the yearbook girl. Yes, the word.
Yeah, the captain of, or the yearbook team, I don't know.
The captain of the yearbook team. They're like pressing their uniforms and doing their warm-ups.
Yep.
And then sitting down at the keyboard.
Yeah, that was a good scene.
It was just the most ridiculous thing I've ever seen.
Well, I mean,
Like-
and that's the first scene in which you realize that, like, there actually is a gimmick with this killer, because you see Ashley's throat slit when they find her strung up, but you never saw that, right?
Could have been the
you
box
didn't,
cutter.
yeah, you didn't. And I mean, they lingered on that box cutter in that opening scene for
as he's fucking slicing the newspaper.
Yeah, 2 solid minutes was spent lingering on that box cutter. Like, I don't even remember what I don't even think it showed his face, but it was like, the box cutter. I knew every like piece of rust on that blade. But yeah, and then when he headbutts her and she's bleeding,
it's like the little.
Yeah,
the little shine of the fucking blade, and then his head whip is everything.
Yeah, well, I mean, yeah, and that's when you realize, oh shit, this guy actually has a gimmick. And again, this is the idea that she clearly had, and then was like, I need to build a movie around this. This is the tiny anemic skeleton that I'm going to hang the rest of the screenplay on.
I'm not going to go heavy into my favorite scene because we already brought it up. I like the decapitation. I thought was...
Rowan even made a comment.
Yeah.
That he liked it.
I was like, this is like, actually, it was a quality kill.
It was. Like, it was really the only time that the movie like went kind of overboard with either gore or nudity or anything like that, because it was all very like cutting away, edited, But that was the one time they said, "Fuck it, we are going all out." Like, you are seeing
bare
this dismemberment. Yeah, like it honestly was the first moment that I like respected the filmmakers.
Well, and I will say, like, I think it's almost a shame that it like was such a bare bones kind of like story and thought out movie, because I'm not going to say film because it doesn't deserve the word film.
It's a cool idea.
It's a cool idea.
It's a great setup.
I think The Graduate looks good. Like, I like the paper.
The mask was really cool, yeah.
Yeah, and like even...
And I like how they has dye, and that's like what the picture in the yearbook was.
Yeah.
That's cool.
And my thing was, like, even without the picture, like, I like just the look of it, and, like, the hat with the razor blade thing, like, like, it's not a crazy concept, but it's, like, it was cool. It's, like, a unique way to, like, for a weapon instead of just, like, a knife or something, or a box cutter. But, like, I thought... if this movie had anything going for it, it was definitely, like, a cool killer. I guess.
I thought it was just hilarious how, like, he was, like, slashing people's throats and stuff, and the second he saw a gun, like, you could feel the fear, and he's like, like, run away like a fucking cat that is, like, treading in one spot because he's, like, trying to get away so quick.
Yeah.
I wanted to save it for a bit, but I feel like we can't even talk about the movie without, like, the obvious thing that, like, this movie is definitely, like, begging people to see it because Perez Hilton's in it. He's, like, the only marketing this movie
well, like,
has.
the girl from Glee is also in it.
Oh, I love Heather Morris. I just want to say she was the only reason I didn't turn it off.
All Rowan kept saying was, "What's with her haircut? What's with her haircut?"
Okay, I thought that
it was the worst haircut.
Okay, so this was released in 2015, but it very much felt like the early 2000s. I don't know if they like graduated in 2005 and just like were all stuck there or something. As someone who graduated in the early 2000s, mid 2000s,
2007 to be exact.
Yeah, and Rowan graduated in 2005. It was like very like it had that vibe. And then Perez Hilton, come on, he's like so 2007.
Oh, he is. I mean, all the like pictures of celebrities with crudely drawn Microsoft Paint penises spurting semen onto their faces and stuff. Like,
and this is where I bring in The Hills, The New Beginning. So randomly, Misha Barton, please wait our like OC podcast. Misha Barton is
we need to do
random. Is randomly on The Hills New Beginning, and not apparently. I remember back in 2007, he would like make fun of her so harshly, and he shows up in an episode, and like they have a whole like dispute, and he like storms off. Also, he's like missing the front piece of his hair in this show, but it's kind of like you guys gotta watch it. It's really patchy. I don't know what happened between 2015 and 2019, but it was nothing good to his hair. And so
it's called male pattern baldness.
Yes, also genetics. Bad genetics.
Yeah, no, you guys gotta watch it. It's like, it's not even like baldness. It's just a weird, I don't know what happened.
I didn't look any more into it, but when I was looking things up about the movie, apparently Perez Hilton was trying to be an actor before he became famous.
Probably.
Like, it said this was kind of like he was trying to get back into acting.
Say that's why he was so
started
mean
it.
to everybody. It was just jealous.
Oh, it was envy, yeah. And really, when you think about it, Perez Hilton's life story and his website and everything, that could have been the beginning of a slasher movie in its own right.
Yeah.
The jilted, like, shat upon, you know, kind of like outcast who becomes the, like, mean boy and then ends up, like, going too far and starts killing people. And
that's a great plot, Mike. You should.
Right?
You should pitch it to him.
I'll pitch it and I'll call it Patchy Hairline.
And like Cecilee said, I was very upset about the hair, but I'm gonna kind of give it a pass because the little that there is online about the movie, apparently they wanted it to feel like a 90s slasher movie.
I didn't feel that it felt 90s at all. It was just so early 2000s.
I think they were going for that like 99, 2000 era. They basically like talked about like Scream was an influence, and it was just like...
Also, who in 2015 has that fucking clunky ass camcorder?
Oh
I was
God.
thinking, like, where are they that there's no fucking cell service? Like, how does this...
That
he was
was
on the
an
phone.
issue.
He was on the phone at the beginning of the movie.
I know, and then the phone rings after when it's in the hallway. Typical fucking horror movie trope. I literally have no cell reception, of course.
Yeah, that camcorder really upset me.
That's like a 1997, 1998 camcorder.
Man, that's like a...
But I feel like it was a reference to Scream, because it looked like the one they would use in Scream, right? So I feel like as easy as it is to shit on it, and of course I did too, I actually like just threw my pen down and was like, what the fuck is that brick that you're holding in your hand? But
I think it's
do
when
think
I
it
stopped
was a
taking
reference.
I feel like there was a lot of misplaced, like, era references here. They were kind of all over the place with the eras.
They're kind of all over the place.
It was not a smoothly polished film. That's the thing. They kind of took a lot of disparate elements, some good and some wretched, and just threw them on the ground, threw them in a, like, fucking grape stomping bin and just started smushing them with their feet, and whatever came out was what they ended up with.
Also, Ashley at the beginning uses the term get laid, and I feel like that is only something that my fucking parents' generation say. I don't know anybody my age that says that they're gonna get laid.
Can we talk about the fact that Ashley's the dumbest of them all? She literally had cold as your grave, die already, and she's still like, come out, we're gonna fuck. And then she hears the door squeak, and then she's like, I'm out of here.
No, can I please
I love
say...
how her, like, cosplays, like, graduation gown.
Yeah.
Why are they stuck
graduation gown with, like... She didn't even get naked before she put it on. It was like... you're not even committing to, like, nudity here. Like, come on.
Cecily, I was thinking the same thing. I was like, they're so caught up. This is 10 years later, and they're so still caught up on fucking high school.
I can't even imagine, like, giving that much of a shit about it, or any shit at all.
But
did you notice that when she was looking for, what was his name, Ray?
Ray? Where's Ray?
And she opened up his closet, which was filled with, like, clutter and debris, and it all came down on her, and she dropped her glass. And then she got fucking angry at him like he did it on purpose. And I was looking at her and I was like, girl, you are snooping in his fucking closets. Like, if shit falls out on you, that's on you. He did not ask you to go snooping in his closets. Like,
I would beg to differ.
That's kind of what happens. Yeah.
My parents,
open our parents' closet.
If you open any door in our home, you have that risk. And I believe that that's their fault and not mine.
Yeah.
It's true. There's this one closet in the hallway that's like next to the living room, and man, you can't even fucking open it. It's a sliding door and you can't even open it.
It's literally broken, stuck closed.
It's broken because there's so much stuff inside that it like basically crushed the door and you can't open it. Good thing my parents don't listen to this podcast.
Literally. I asked them, are you going to listen to my episode? And they said, I didn't listen to your sisters.
The love and support.
They probably don't know how.
But can I just say, speaking of Ashley, that I completely stan slasher movie canon fodder, where they, like, acknowledge that you don't know or give a shit about this person and you're not going to remember their name. So she literally walks in with her name written on her shirt.
That's
the
that's
only
bedazzled.
reason. Like, if she hadn't had her name written on her shirt, I would have been like, who was that cannon fodder blonde girl at the beginning? You know what I mean? It's like, no, I remember it was Ashley, yeah.
She literally dies before the opening credits.
I'm gonna be honest. I felt like they were all cannon blotter.
Cannon blotter.
Like,
Cannon fodder?
yeah, fodder, sorry. That's how disgusted I am. Like, I don't think I really remember anyone's name except for Ashley.
And Ray. I feel
Ray.
they constantly.
Ray.
Where's
Because we
Ray?
brought
He's
it
not
up.
The two
being very
people
good
who
host.
have
Brad.
literally the least cumulative screen time between the two of them in the entire movie. And they're the only ones
I
you
guess?
remember.
Bella. Brad's like the actor. Bella's the
Jeez,
actor
Cecilee knows all of
girlfriend.
them.
I don't know the rest of them though.
I was just like, I don't know this.
I only know Lamont because I felt like that. Like, why did you have to name him Lamont?
Oh, okay.
Most likely to eat anything.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is the
I
weirdest.
thought that was the weirdest superlative.
But again, they did that to fit because, you know, the screenwriter clearly had 3 or 4 kills in her mind and wrote the entire screenplay around those kills. So it's like, what can I have that is like a razor hockey stick?
Well, I feel like the only one that was really fitting was Ashley. But then they have these other 2 people that randomly died. They don't have fucking superlatives. Why are they even in the
know.
movie?
I know. I was thinking the same thing.
Like that fucking creepy grounds guy. He could have never been in the
Well,
movie.
I mean, you know, they're red herrings.
Tarkin
They're
or
red
whatever.
herrings. They gotta have extra characters that, like, don't have, you know, motivations within the circle of friends that could, you know, potentially, like,
But they
throw
killed him
suspicion
in a
off.
cool way. Like, yeah, the supermodel got her head ripped off. What, the other guy just got
Got
strangled and just left on the
And
ground.
can I say that, speaking of him, though, before the opening credits of this movie were even finished, I knew what type of movie it was going to be for one very specific reason. When the cast credits of the movie are rolling, and the person who gets an "and" at the end of the credits is Jake Busey, son of Gary Busey.
Gary Busey.
When he's the "and," when he's the special guest star, you know you're in trouble. I knew it. I was from that moment on. I was like, I don't know if I like where this ride is going. I truly don't.
How far on the bottom of the list do you have to get before you call Jake Busey for a cameo?
Well, the funny
They
thing
probably
is, Jake
called
Busey-
Gary Busey first, and he was too busy. He was too busy drying out.
We were like, Rowan was like, how weird is it that we've seen 2 movies or 2 things in the past like week that have Gary Busey's son in it? This, and he's in Stranger Things as well.
Oh wow!
And then he was like, his career's really going up though, because Stranger Things is a lot better than this movie.
Yeah, that's like 100% jump.
He definitely got the job because of this film.
This is the top of his resume.
Yeah, portfolio.
Yeah, the
It's
Duffers were just like,
most likely to die.
we saw
Exiliate
most likely
really-
to die, and that's it.
Exiliate really enjoyed his teeth.
Oh my god, they were so dirty.
Well,
Like
obviously.
how it was like, we have to show that this guy's like a redneck, so let's just like
Give him fucked up teeth.
put shit all in his teeth.
I feel like he didn't look that much older than the people in the movie too, and they're like, "Oh, he was old. No, liquor store."
Yeah, I thought that was weird.
Also, it was I didn't really get did they ever explain Bella is Bella the card player?
No,
No,
that's
Bella's the
Gabby.
girl
Bella's
from
the
Acme.
supermodel.
Yeah,
We'll get to
Gabby.
Gabby.
Is the card
Gabby's the one that you don't like her hair.
Okay. Like there was this weird thing about the groundskeeper and Gabby, I didn't really get that plot line cuz at first I'm like, did she fuck this guy? Or
No, I
something?
think he was
Had, like, a
he's
crush
just
on
overall
her.
creepy. Yeah.
Yeah,
he's
he
overall,
like provided
creepy
them
guy.
with underage alcohol.
Alcohol.
Maybe
Yeah.
hoping
for
that
double the price.
yeah, that maybe they would sleep with him.
Because he had the store.
Also, if I'm really on the whim of creating a screenplay, I feel like professional poker players
That
the
is-
first
Yeah, I thought that was so
I
random.
pulled this out of my ass job.
And it was
But
every
I thought it was
moment.
going to be relevant, to her
They tried.
survival.
Yeah.
They tried so hard to make it
Yeah.
relevant. Every fucking thing was, I'm a poker player. You got to be better at poker. You got to get good at lying. It's like, You could have had any career, and it still wouldn't have made any sense.
Well, I mean,
I think they tried to tie it to like her survival
Especially
by
at
like
the end.
instincts and stuff, but I don't think they really like drove it home enough to really actually make the connection.
No, because
When
what
did
does
her friend
being
make that bracelet?
at the beginning when they were playing poker at the beginning, it showed her for like a split second, folding the card up in her lap.
Oh, I thought she was
I
cheating.
do. I will give them.
I didn't know
that.
what
I will
the fuck
give
she
them
was
that.
doing.
I mean, it looked like she was just rolling a joint, but you know,
That's what I thought
too.
like
And I was
rolling
like,
a
oh,
joint
that's
with
gonna
the
be
playing
really-
card.
That's like a thick paper.
Yeah, and the plastic coating. You're just like smoking God only knows what.
It's true.
I would just be very interested in, while they shot this, like, the dynamic, because no one in this, like, emitted any emotion except for Perez Hilton, who just took it to, like,
100.
9,000 every time.
I like how he was also had this like ex-con kind of like / he was like had a DUI. I don't know, that's so Hollywood, having a DUI and like getting in a car accident. Maybe not like the
And
part
killing
about
his
killing your
boyfriend.
boyfriend.
Yeah, it's like I
but,
crashed
like-
my car, my boyfriend's fucking dead.
Yeah, now he's in jail and now he's on parole.
Let's
But like
liven
you said,
up
it
the
was
party.
stupid. Like you said, it was stupid because all of these things that they're talking about isn't relevant at all. So
It's true.
It could have never
Yeah,
been said,
it's
and the movie
ridiculous.
would be the exact same.
Well, I mean, yes, because they dwelled on her, poker playing, and then by the end of the movie, she's like, he's going into shock, and his body temperature is going to drop, and I was like, are you a paramedic or a poker player?
That's
Like,
what Rowan's like, how the fuck does she know?
and she's like, jumping over like staircases and stuff, and I was like, I get that you're supposed to be the final girl, but like, what's the setup? The setup and the payoff are in two different realms. The setup was for one thing, and the payoff is from something completely different. And also, it was just funny that you mentioned, them being emotionless and stuff, because I will admit, I didn't know that she was in this, Heather Morris, the one who plays Gabby, who was in Glee. But back in the day when Glee first started, me and a couple of my friends were kind of diehard Ryan Murphy fans, and we did religiously watch Glee, as lame as we knew it was, for like the first, 3 or 4 years it was on. And she was like our favorite, so we stand the shit out of her. So I was really excited to see her in this, because I don't think I've seen her in very much. But her character in that was very, like, her affect was really muted. Like, she was supposed to be very kind of like monotone, and you know what I mean? Like, her affect was just
She's
sort of
perfect for
capped
that.
off. Yeah.
Yeah.
And to me, that fit her character, and she's actually very charismatic in a way. But, they tried to, like, obviously have everybody's emotions in this cranked up to, like, 11. And I feel like as much as I love her and as much as I enjoyed watching her in this, it was not the right choice, because she was better at being, like, muted affect. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
she should definitely fire her agent. Or it's either that or she, like, definitely someone, whether it was the screenwriter, like, she knew someone and this was a favor.
Or Perez Hilton had a crudely mocked picture of her with a Microsoft Paint penis. Yeah.
Blackmail.
Yeah. And he's like, if I've got to be in this, so do you.
All I have is not the best acting. It's never good when you are watching a movie and you can tell they're acting.
Yeah, it was...
That's never good.
Well, they weren't, they were just reading lines for the whole movie.
Yeah.
And like that was my thing, is like they weren't even like, it wasn't even like bad, like cheesy 80s slasher acting.
No, it was just like,
where like you're overacting it and it's just silly and funny. It was just like, man, these people suck.
Like,
Okay, me and Rowan. Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Cecily.
sorry, I was gonna say, when they're sitting at the table and talking about, oh, I joined fucking yearbook committee, and then there's still that red X over Ashley's face, and they're like, wow, that is really mean. Like, they're not thinking, like, what the fuck is going
Yeah,
on?
they're like, why is this here?
Like, they're like, I'm gonna take this down, and then we're gonna have a fucking food fight. Like, that is not the like correct emotion for that, I feel.
oh, nobody displays the correct emotions in this.
Ever.
They're standing outside of the shack with her dead body, and I'm like,
And they're fighting about their friendship.
guys, like, who gives a shit? There's literally a corpse of one of your friends with her throat slit just on the other side of this thin panel of pressed plywood. Like,
Unfortunately, Perez is the only one I felt like he's like screaming, he's like, oh my god, and he's like gonna throw up, and everyone else is like, wow, that's really crazy. I can't believe this is
And
happening.
he's the most awful actor ever. Like, he's literally one of the worst actors I've ever seen. But at least he's selling it. Like, he's trying, right? Like,
He's the only one who tried. I think he wrote this movie.
we're not buying it, but he's really trying to sell it. Like, I will give him that. I will give him credit where it's due.
Just to like put it into perspective, I had a nap this afternoon before we were recording, and Rowan decided we were gonna go on Tubi, and like Tubi has like they're stepping their game up, but they still have some pretty like
Black and white, everything.
well, they have like some really like maybe Z classified horror movies. And we put on, well, it was Rowan's choice, put on The Evil Bong 666, and let me just tell you, the acting in this may have been a half a step above that movie, if that really tells you anything.
The Evil Bong is a full moon entertainment movie.
I literally thought you said The Evil Bong 6.
Yeah,
It
we
is.
did.
That's
B-O-N-G.
It's something with this haunted bong, and then like I don't know, it turns evil. Apparently, I fell asleep within like 10 minutes.
It talks.
Yeah, it talks. But then they thought they were crazy, and then that's when I fell asleep. But apparently, it actually talks.
It just really talks.
It's a really just not greatly acted movie.
The other thing I also didn't get was so the shed that Ashley was in, they they had that freak out where they're like, oh, you gotta turn the lights back on so we can have power, and I didn't really get that.
Yeah,
because when they turned it off, it was like for some reason the
I'm like,
key
this
to the powers in that
hockey
place.
player's mansion house runs off a generator in the shed.
And the
Apparently.
house had lights on before he killed Ashley, and it was running.
It doesn't really make sense.
I don't think they.
Also, he turned the generator off with a shovel.
And everyone's like, what are you doing? Don't fucking do it. I was like, just fucking go and move her leg out of the way if you're that chill about it.
I'm also like, I don't really like hockey, so maybe this is why it extra irked me. But I just was kind of uncomfortable with the mix of this like summery California Hollywood Hills type.
Me too. Thank you.
And there's like fucking skates and hockey sticks and everything. I'm like, what? These are two clashing seasons.
Hockey climate.
No, it just really bothered me. I think that irked me the most about the movie.
No, what irked me the most is that Perez Hilton then starts using them for comedic effect.
Also, Ray is not an attractive guy.
When Ray was,
he's been
first
roughed
shown,
up a bit.
When he was shown at the end, I was like, is this Keanu Reeves?
Oh, if only he
I was thinking, like, wow, how did they get him?
Also, is it Brad that's the actor?
Yeah.
Man, Brad looks like Seth MacFarlane. I was like,
He kinda does.
This guy looks like a C-grade Seth MacFarlane.
Like, how is he the hot stuff?
Yeah, I was like, how is this guy like the lead actor on like a cop show? Also,
why is his ringtone his own theme
ringtone
song?
the show's theme song? That's ridiculous.
But it took him a moment to realize he's like, oh, that's my
someone
phone.
else
She's
said,
like,
is
this
that
is
the
your this is
so-and-so
your show,
fucking
yeah.
movie?
It's just funny that you brought up that he was like D grade Seth MacFarlane when I wrote about Ashley, low rent Denise Richards.
Yes, she is like her. I would the one scene that really got me angry, besides like the hockey sticks in the Hollywood Hills, was when they're kind of in that garden gate part, and then they escape, and she comes into the bathroom and she sees the killer in the mirror. She shoots the mirror, and then she sees her friend, and she drops the gun.
And
it's like
doesn't
obviously
fucking
the
turn
mirror's
around.
obviously the mirror's fucking reflecting the killer. Like obviously the killer's there. Why would you just drop your gun? Like what are you doing with your life?
Well, my question about that scene is, she shot her friend. So how did this happen? Was she behind the mirror this whole
Did
time?
she shoot her friend?
Her friend had a
Apparently, the
fucking
door
gun
was
wound.
made of a mirror.
Yeah, I think the mirror was on the door, and she shot through the mirror, shot through the door, and her friend was behind the door.
I thought because her friend's throat was slit, so I
No.
thought she was already.
I don't
already
think her
down.
friend's
gunshot
throat.
wound.
Yeah, she got shot
Oh,
and the
shit.
blood was pooling around her throat. I got confused then too.
Oh,
What are the
that's
chances
bad.
that he's standing there and she walks and like is standing at the exact like spot that she's not gonna fucking see him, but see the reflection and shoot the fucking wall? It's like, how did he set this up? If she came from a different way, she would have seen him. She would have walked in behind him.
It doesn't make any sense. Also, does she not know what mirrors are for? They're for reflecting things.
Okay, but
Yeah.
I'm gonna say, and I know, like, what is
That
the
it's
point
the
of
worst superlative?
nitpicking stupid shit horror movies? Like, it's just an exercise in futility. But I love finding stupid things about movies that, like, the biggest plot mechanics that don't make sense just don't bother you, but like it's always the little things. And I'm like,
it's true.
Okay, so apparently this door was made out of a mirror, but like, wouldn't she have been able to see through the mirror if there was no wood behind it? You know, if it was just a panel of glass, like she would have been able to see through the mirror. You know. Anyway, I was like, bitch, like what? Like why? Why? I don't understand.
I'm also questioning this whole, like, what's her name? Jade. So her superlative is most likely to break hearts. Is the whole thing that she's breaking her best friend's heart? Because that's BS.
Or is it she's breaking her girlfriend's heart? And why
is
did
her
they just
girlfriend the
leave that?
teacher?
Well, and why did they just leave that person? Because they're like, I have to call my girlfriend and say goodbye, and they just fucking like the number one thing.
No,
is
she made a video.
She made a video.
Oh yeah, made a video with
But
a
how are
fucking
they gonna get the
1997
video?
camcorder.
Who is sending the video?
I hope her girlfriend has one of those things that can play those tiny tapes.
Well, she was
That
a
whole
teacher.
side plot was like bizarre about like
the teacher.
Well,
that's random. They
And
just threw
Perez
that in.
Hilton's character like trying to make a video to sell.
And it doesn't even really go on for the rest of the movie. Like, he kind of isn't videotaping anything else when it's actually something kind of interesting happening.
It's just
unless it's like the star jock and the like star cheerleader like fucking on tape, nobody's buying that shit.
I know he's like, oh,
they want to
to
see
their friends
penetration, and that's it. Yeah.
Oh my God.
Unless I see vulva, I'm not buying.
Yeah, exactly. You need to be all up in that fallopian tubes. Like right up there. You just got to be like up in there.
Just a reminder to follow us on all of our social media at It Slays Podcast. We're on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, soon to be on Tumblr. Of course, we're on Spotify and iTunes. And if you're adding us on iTunes, don't forget to leave us an iTunes review. It doesn't even need to be 5-star. We appreciate 5-star. But the most important part is we want to hear from you. So write us text review in the iTunes app, and we will make sure to give you a shout out on the podcast. Every review helps as it bumps us up in the search engine, and you know, that's what it's all about. Back to the podcast. Another thing that was painfully obvious after like 10 minutes of the movie was that they could not get the rights to any music whatsoever.
I was gonna say, I feel bad. There's no soundtrack to talk about.
There was like one rock song that probably isn't even a rock song. They probably just made the 20-second clip they made for the movie, like that like sounds like a shitty imitation of a 90s song
and
or
then
something.
there was the graduation march song.
And they played that over.
I think that is
and
like
over again.
free to the world to use.
I think it is like,
to buy the
was it
copyright.
called like common like
And that's like,
whatever,
to
property?
me, a good soundtrack would have probably made this movie a little more tolerable. Because, like, they were definitely going for, like, an MTV movie feel.
And let me tell you, MTV has a better movies.
They do. MTV, like, their game is up there. It is on.
It is far, far better
That's saying something.
than this. Is there any other talking points we want to bring up?
Yes, I was so mad that there wasn't really a twist with the killer. It was just like, haha, it was the Joker guy.
And they kind of already said, like,
With-
I bet it's you.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was him in consort with John Doherty. And I literally have a note, and I was like, if the killer's fucking John Doherty, then I'm gonna be pissed.
I wish it was. At least.
Well, like, they kind of planned it together.
Well, no, because he killed himself and he's like, well, I'll avenge my fucking friend.
Yeah, well, that's what
John
he said
Doherty
happened.
I don't think John Doherty actually killed himself.
No.
Well, we don't know because at the end.
At the end, yeah.
So, the only information I could find out about that was, like, kind of in their actual write-up about it. Like, if you go on Wikipedia, the write-up for the plot summary is that it's supposed to be implied that it either is A, the spirit of John Doherty, or B,
Blame.
John Doherty.
I hate that. That's fucking stupid.
The twist was, like, stupid. Yeah, it just wasn't good. I did not enjoy it.
Also, I feel like all these things that they talk about happening in high school, they like speak about them incredibly vaguely for most of the movie, and then they tell you, but they don't really like...
It's been 10 years. They don't really remember.
They don't like break through the story. They're just like, oh, she had a baby, or she was pregnant.
Did she
and then
have an abortion? Did she keep
I don't know.
We don't know.
He
Is there a baby
disappeared.
around?
That's the thing. That's all we know is she was pregnant and he disappeared. That's it. And same with like the thing about
all she had to do was say, "You didn't even pay for my abortion," right? Yeah. And then boom, that answers every question we have.
And same with the John Doherty thing. They scratched his face out and put dye, and then and then the guy put a gun in his locker. Like,
and I'm
can we have more to this story?
But when I was on yearbook committee, we weren't even allowed to put like, even if there was a slight innuendo. There was someone fucking checking what we were putting in, and we couldn't just write whatever the hell we wanted. There's no way this would have went to print.
No faculty supervision at all.
Yeah, they just...
Yeah, really.
This sounded like a wild-ass yearbook committee.
Man, I can tell you, my yearbook theme was like Ace of Spades or something, and it was fucking like card decks on the front.
Don't feel bad. Mine had a Bill Cosby quote on the back cover.
Oh, wow.
Great.
Which doesn't make sense. I graduated in 2014. It doesn't make sense.
Yearbooks never age gracefully.
That's a very good point. I never really thought about it because who wants to look back at their yearbook? But I mean, I'm only a lunatic, a sociopath.
Sometimes every like 5 years I look at mine and I'm just like, fuck.
And Cecilee is a lunatic and a sociopath.
So she has to be a sadist.
Somebody sent me pictures that they scanned, like some
sadist,
posted it on Facebook.
It was so cute. Is that why you put privacy settings on your Facebook?
One of the many reasons. That shit is locked down.
Nobody from the podcast can add him. He knows. He was in anticipation for getting famous.
My Facebook is locked down like that alleyway with the fucking gates.
It's only locked one way.
Yeah. You can get in, but you can't get out.
I mean, everybody on the podcast only knows his name's Mike, so like that's a pretty common name.
Oh yeah, that's also true.
No worries.
Well,
but I'm also really careless, so just do a bit of research.
That alleyway scene was so frustrating.
I definitely saw her lock that lock. How the hell?
She did.
Was it
totally
unlocked?
did. And then it was, not only was it unlocked, but it was fucking like open.
But again, that was a callback, I think, to, like you said, like an homage to like Scream. To me, I could see them trying to make this like really cool, tense scene where, you know, they're trapped with the killer, and you know what I mean? Like that's something out of like Scream 2 or whatever, where it's like, oh, you're trapped in like the car with the killer after it like crashes or whatever. But it was such a fucking failed attempt. It was just it didn't even work as like an homage. It was just so awful. There's no tension.
It took him so long to realize that it wasn't locked.
Yeah.
I was like, why wouldn't you just check the first
all he had was a fucking box cutter. She had a goddamn broomstick. Honestly, I would be more scared of a broomstick than a box cutter.
Weapon.
Yeah, exactly. It's a ranged weapon, exactly. And she was clearly, at this point, they were already painting her as fucking gymnastics Rambo woman. So
that's the thing with the box cutter. You have to be so close to the person. You have to literally be up against the person's
body. Why didn't
body.
she just like run really quick past him?
Yeah, really. She could have run super quick, push him out of the way, and then
like thrown that stack of boxes on top of him.
The ones that he pushed over when he got scared of the gun.
But instead, she just quietly yells, "Jade, help me, help!"
And I feel like the cast was like, maybe the cast was just too big or something, because I feel like half the characters like aren't there for half the movie.
Well, Lamont, his car breaks down, and then he's just like walking back to the place for the whole movie.
I don't remember him going anywhere.
Yeah, like when they found Ashley, he's like, "I'll go find help," and then he runs.
Well, yes,
because
their phones don't work, right?
But I thought he said his
everybody's brakes are cut.
But like, how the hell did he get out of?
No, he said his fuel line was cut.
Lot.
His fuel line.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I
There's
guess he can run on empty for a while.
Yeah.
Oh, speaking of, I didn't think this was going to come naturally, but my favorite line of the entire movie, was actually when they cut the brake lines and Bella goes, "I'm not walking in these heels." As if that's,
Okay, yeah.
As if that's the reason that they're all going to die because she doesn't want to walk away. Like they could,
I just
would've
saw
left.
a
I'm not-
decapitated body, but I'm not walking in these heels.
I
She didn't
really like
bring
when
heels?
Lamont.
She's
What?
on a mountain. Why didn't she bring anything other than heels?
Well, she's a superstar.
Well, take
A
them off,
supermodel.
bitch.
I like when Lamont's outside and he's by that like huge wall of prickly pear cactuses or cacti. I was like, oh, those are nice.
Wow, I wish I could plant those in my apartment.
Me too. That's a fatal wall. Those things are freaking prickly.
That would have been a better death.
That would have been an awesome death, actually. I'm gonna make a movie and it's just death by different plants.
I've been stabbed by a cactus. It fucking sucks.
It hurts
Yeah.
every time I like.
And
try
then you
to
gotta
move
pick
mine.
pick the spines out of your like
Yes.
fingers or arm or whatever.
I replanted mine one time and used an
Oh.
oven mitt to try and pick it up and went right through it. Ugh.
Yeah, every time I try to care for mine, I always get a bunch in my hands, or if I like go to buy a new one, and I literally have to pick them out with my teeth, and then I have to like be like, I'm not gonna swallow this.
That's fucking
You need to like
gross and
handle
dangerous.
cacti with those like gloves that they use for when you're doing like dry ice and shit. Like
I was
Yeah.
gonna say like fireproof.
yeah.
I was gonna say, I feel like Bella is our way into the movie because the entire movie, Bella's the only one I could relate to because Bella's just like,
Because she's a supermodel.
She's not.
well, yeah, because I live life as a supermodel.
Well,
'cause
she's
she's
not
not
telling
friends.
expository stories that like literally
She's
serve
literally
no purpose.
there.
I like how she's there to find out if this girl will play the fundraiser.
But she's literally
No,
there,
teach her
and
to
her
do it.
attitude, most of it is just like, these people fucking suck.
yeah. it's
I
true.
wish
This
I
place
wasn't
sucks.
here.
And I'm like, literally, she's just representing the viewer watching this movie.
It's true.
She's just like, what is wrong with these people?
Yep, for once.
For anybody who's doesn't live in Toronto or hasn't experienced a Toronto summer, whoo, I am like sweating bullets and I'm drinking wine, which really isn't helping my cause at all. And
We were
I feel
talking
like
about it
a
earlier
clam.
that it's very hot in everywhere that we are.
Yes.
We went from 10 degrees to 18, and I'm really feeling it.
Yeah, Cecilee and Mike are pretty hot at their 18 high, and me and Rowan are sitting here at about 44 degrees. Plus, we're inside and have the door closed and the window closed, so we can record this. And I am sweating bullets.
It is very sweaty.
My entire
You
neighborhood
do have a
can
nice
hear this.
glowy sheen.
Thank you, I appreciate it.
So let's talk about, is it scary? Was this
Scary bad.
Yeah, it was so bad. It was scary.
It was scary to think of what they had to do to get the clearly little funding that they had. Like someone did some death threats or like
Someone slept with somebody.
oh yeah, it's awful.
Yeah, it was the furthest away from scary possible. So are we comfortable getting into rating it?
Sure.
I already know my rating. I'm ready.
Yeah, I mean, if you want to talk about it more, we can go ahead.
Oh, no, I don't think we really need to do that to the people.
I mean, the movie's only an hour 20 minutes.
Thank God they didn't have enough money to go past an hour.
That's what Rowan said. Rowan's like, this movie's really short, and I was like, yeah, like good thing.
So let's get into the rating. Let's start with Exilia.
Me?
Yeah.
Mike, stop taking screenshots of my friggin' weird side head. I look like Tina from goddamn Bob's Burgers.
You are
A,
Tina.
Tina is queen. B, I'm just trying to get the sheen.
It's not Tina.
I'm
it's
trying to get your
Queena.
queen.
Queena.
Ooh. Wow. KWEENAH.
Exilia.
I'm gonna give this a nay. I really don't know what to say past that. I mean, if you are like some of those on this podcast and you like garbage movies and you enjoy that, then like, man, watch this movie. This is going to be spectacular for you. Personally, I give it not a I give it a nay. Not a
A
slay.
triple Y slay.
We should do something where like troll the people. We're like, this is the best movie ever. Yeah, it's not a great movie.
Mike.
Is nay minus a... I'm kidding. Honestly, it had its moments, but I mean, it was awful. And I love trash, but it was not even enjoyable trash because everybody just was somehow simultaneously taking it too seriously and not taking it seriously enough to even commit to overacting like Perez Hilton did.
True.
Like, I think he's awful and he's the worst actor ever, and I do not like him as a human being, but he was the only person who at least was like, fuck this, I'm gonna be campy and go over the top with it. He knew, like, I'm gonna be the camp center of this movie.
That's the thing. If this movie was like campy, I think it would be good.
Yeah.
See, I'm gonna disagree.
Okay, well,
No, I enjoy that. Please disagree.
I'm in the outlier here. Don't count me in the bell curve because I'm giving this movie slay. It is.
You're throwing that curve off.
It is so fun. Imagine you're with your friends, you're all drinking, you got this movie on. How much fun is that going to be?
And that is true.
To make fun of it.
No, but and this is, Cecilee brings up a very, very, very important point when you're talking about any movie, but especially horror movies, and it is context. It is context.
If you're sitting alone in your house,
if the four of us had been, together as we have been over the years, many, 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 many times, and you get trashed and you watch the movie and you order a pizza and
from home, obviously.
You're kind of like leaving and going to pee and not pausing it and missing everything. But like, if you're all sitting down together and it's like an event, then that really changes like the interpretation of it. I was sitting by myself on my couch, so I didn't. But even if like me and Cess had been together watching it, like it would have been a lot more enjoyable. And that is a very important thing to consider. Like when you're looking at a movie like that, it's like, what's the context? What is the context that you're viewing it in?
I think that comes up so much on our podcast, especially the episode where I guess is the introduction where we're talking about our favorite movies, and that's like that has so much to do with like what you like and what you don't like. Well, at least for us.
Yeah.
I would also like to point out, shout out to Hobo's Pizza. Thank you, Cecilee.
Hobo's Pizza
on Monchi Street, St. John's.
Speaking of all of our wasted viewings of bad horror movies, they were all inadvertently sponsored by Hobo's Pizza.
Not the best pizza, but they started making real food slightly before we moved,
those
and it
onion
was
rings?
Amazing.
Shout out
onion
to
rings
Wayne
yes,
those
onion rings, and they have like a covering that would kind of be like almost like a wonton, and then trucker's mess, or was it turkey mess with cheese?
Yeah,
oh
turkey
my
mess.
god. When I come back to Newfoundland, I'm not even going to see you guys first. I'm going to Hobo's Pizza and I'm getting a turkey mess with cheese.
So I'm gonna give it a negative nay.
What?
A minus 3,000.
A nay, triple Y.
I'd say that's the outlier here.
This was not good, but I will follow it up. Cecilee did take the words out of my mouth. To me, if you were drinking with people and you wanted something just kind of on that you could laugh at, that you don't really have to pay attention to, I definitely could see this serving a purpose.
It was literally me and Rowan sitting on our bed watching this movie for this podcast. So yeah, it wasn't like bringing the
vibe wasn't there.
The vibe wasn't there.
It's all about a vibe. Yeah, you're right.
When I'm putting it in like the list of horror movies, like it's definitely it's probably gonna fall under like
top 10.
The Shining.
It's gonna fall under Evil Bong 666.
Yeah. Evil Bond 666 might top it over. But yeah, no,
it's gonna fall under The Shining, duh.
Wasn't that the most like critically acclaimed movie of all time?
Yeah, it's like what? That's like a weird comparison. Okay.
Horror hounds. Do you guys like horror music? I like horror music. Auxilia likes horror music. We know Mike definitely loves horror music. So if you love horror music like we do, join us on Spotify. We have a playlist up called the It Slays Podcast Horrific Playlist. We have some of our favorite tasty jams from some of our favorite horror movies, and we're always consistently adding to the list. And let us know. You can email us or Facebook or Instagram us and let us know if there's anything we should add to the playlist. So the budget, there is no budget game because it didn't make
there is no
money.
budget.
It's not listed anywhere how much they spent to make it.
Was this only on Netflix?
No.
I was
Couldn't have
okay.
been.
That's a good question because I was gonna bring that up at some point.
I don't think it's a Netflix original.
I don't know what the like genesis of this movie is. I don't know where it was birthed or how or why.
So, from what I could see, it did play in some theaters, but it was like theaters that people knew that were associated with the movie. It didn't make any...
What does that even mean?
So, like, they would be, like, playing at Burbank and not, like, at New Minus
their
theaters.
hometown theater or
like
something.
of the people that
They
were...
basically maybe pulled favors and were like, can you play this in your theater once?
I mean, New Minus doesn't get much. They get, like, the biggest movies, and then that's it.
So they got Avatar for 18 weeks and counting.
So yeah, no budget gain because they didn't log.
Let me
any
guess the
money.
budget: $100,000.
I'm gonna guess the budget $100.
And we'll never know because there is
Perez
no
Hilton
listed
and
budget.
the girl from Glee did it for free.
There's no
Perez
listed
Hilton, that's his
budget.
house.
No listed budget, and they didn't make any money because, so this pretty much went directly to, like, streaming platforms and, like, on demand.
Thank God I didn't pay for it at the theater.
I would kind of probably be pissed if I did, although I have seen some pretty shitty movies in the theater.
Yeah, it did not, I would not be happy if I paid, like, $20 for a movie ticket.
Yeah, movies are so expensive these days.
When I worked
That's
at the
another-
theater,
that's
I
another
would have
JJ.
definitely seen this multiple times since I got to do it for free.
You'd probably, like, go in on your shift and, like, watch it.
Yeah,
Avengers
I'd be the only
Who,
one in
like-
the theater.
Most likely to die is playing.
So I think that is everything for this movie, but we do have to announce our next episode, and we are back to an Exilia pick.
Yay.
Do you want
It's
to
always
announce?
Exilia picks, I feel. He
No,
runs the
my
show.
gosh. I feel like Mike has a lot of picks.
Well, because he wins all of the picks.
We're trying to do an equal thing where we go back and forth. My pick is going to be Lace Crater.
Sweet.
Yes.
Very excited about it. I've only seen it once, and it was like shortly after it came out, I think. And I believe, isn't the main girl the girl from The Invitation? Sadie from The Invitation?
Yes, Sadie from
and
The Invitation.
She's also in Easy.
Yeah, also in Easy. She's been in a lot of stuff.
I wouldn't call this a scary movie, but you guys will have to listen to or watch it and then listen to our podcast to find out.
I'll just listen to the podcast and find the synopsis from that.
No, you have to see the movie. The movie's awesome.
I never watch the movies. I just listen
Oh
to
my
you
god,
guys.
how do you get the references?
Well, because I watch the podcast or listen to the podcast enough, and then I know it.
Oh my god.
She just absorbs it by osmosis.
Yes, definitely.
Apparently.
If you've seen it, I've seen it.
Yeah.
It's that like sibling connection.
Yeah, we had telepathy.
So I think that is everything for this episode. We are going to sign off. When you hear this episode, we're already going to be getting ready to move.
Well, I think it'll be the day before we move.
the day before we move. So.
Then the next episode will be, well, we're going to film another one before we move, and then next time you hear this will be Goodbye Toronto.
We're
Hello,
gonna
no-
we're gonna
Nova
record
Scotia.
it. We won't film it because it would probably be a even worse movie than this.
Sorry, my bad.
So I think the appropriate way to end this episode is I will say, see you later. I'm Rowan.
Bye, it's Exilia.
This is Mike.
And your queen, Cecilee.
Queen Cecilee. And I feel like you should leave everybody with some words of wisdom or something.
I'm gonna be honest, I have no wisdom.